I heard quite recently, a week or 10 days ago, that the EU white paper about transportation has been sort of, well, leaked, I guess. And basically they're saying that we need to decrease carbon emissions from transportation by 70%, or that's the goal until 2050. But we're only going to reduce it by 1% for the next 20 years, and then we're going to reduce it by 5% during the last 20 years. So doesn't that imply that it's all talk and very little action? And you, of course, don't represent transportation, but how do you interact with other people who might not share your goals and perhaps the urgency that you bring to the table?
Over to you.
Thank you. First on the white paper on transports, you were asking. What we say in that white paper is consistent with my low carbon roadmap. We have done sort of the impact assessment together, transport, energy, and climate. And there it says by 2050, transport can, in a cost-efficient manner, reduce emissions by 60%. But you're right that up to 2025, it is a huge challenge just to stabilize, we're talking about compared to 1990, to stabilize emissions from transport, because since 1990, transport has gone up like this. So just to get it to zero is actually more difficult than it looks when you mention the 1%. What we're trying to do in that white paper is to say more rails, for instance, more electrical vehicles, single sky, better planning in the air, better logistics in the harbor. We have actually, for the first time, tried to indicate a proportion of what the shipping sector should deliver. They have never had a target before. Here we say what we think is at least feasible. So it's just to say that there are many things there also about fuel quality. We are, from EU, setting up standards. We have done it now for cars. We are doing it for van. The next thing will be for trucks. And we have this discussion on the fuel quality, how to tighten restrictions on fuel quality. So it's a very, very sort of widespread range of initiatives where we have some of the tools. But for instance, the planning, the way we have traffic planning in Europe, the way you plan Stockholm, that's very much up to the Stockholm authorities. It's very much up to Swedish authorities. EU has no competence there. But we try to make the point that we cannot do this just by continuing to increase private traffic. We really must have much better sort of thinking of how to have interconnected public transport systems. So this is not sort of the final roadmap or the final recipe. This is a white paper to say to the member states, here, this is the direction we think we should go in. And then now we start the dialogue with them on the very, very specific initiatives. When you ask, how do you influence that kind of things, one of the things that we have been very keen on is to say it's not enough just to come up with these nice to have targets. We also have a long list in the beginning of the white paper, what must be achieved within the mandate of this commission. And that was sort of some of the fights we had, but that is in there because it means a lot to say it's not something that can be taken care of 5 or 10 years from now. There are certain decisions that we have to take now.